Today I decided I'm going to make a pound cake. Traditionally, pound cakes were made with a pound of flour, a pound of sugar, a pound of eggs, and a pound of butter. But I like to make what I call a half-pound cake, which fits into a regular loaf pan, so I'm using a half a pound of each. So first I'm going to add 2 sticks of butter to my stand mixer. And I'm just gonna get those going. Then I'm going to add a cup of regular granulated sugar. And I'm just gonna let that go until it's nice and light and fluffy. So that looks good. So now I'm going to mix in the eggs one at a time and beat the batter until each egg is incorporated pretty well. And I'm just gonna scrape down the edges of the bowl to make sure it's all mixed in. The yolks are so orange, you can tell which chickens are out there eating all the bugs and weeds and good stuff in the lawn. And I'm just gonna let that go until it's mixed really well and smooth and there are no lumps left. And now I'll add some vanilla bean paste. You can use vanilla extract in the same measurements. I just like the vanilla bean paste. It's sort of a thick liquid and it has flecks in it. So it really looks like real vanilla bean, but it's a lot easier to work with and a lot more economical than vanilla beans. I'll add about a teaspoon of that and just mix that all in. Okay, now for my dry ingredients, I am going to whisk some cardamom into my flour. I like to substitute cardamom in for cinnamon in recipes. It's kind of similar, it's a really warming spice and it just has a little bit different flavor than cinnamon. If you have a recipe that calls for cinnamon, you can sub in cardamom, no problem. So I'm just gonna add a teaspoon. Then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Salt in baked goods really brings out the sweetness. So I'll just add about, half a teaspoon of salt. Then I'll whisk that up. Then once that's combined, I'm going to slowly incorporate it into my wet mixture. And then just scrape the sides down one more time to make sure I get all the flour that didn't get mixed in. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm going to fold in my cranberries. I used frozen cranberries that I thawed and dried, and then I tossed them with a little bit of flour. Whenever you're adding berries to a batter, you want to dust them in flour because it helps suspend them in that batter better and not all fall to the bottom. So I have about a cup of cranberries here, and I'm just gonna fold them in really gently and try not to make the juices kind of run into the rest of the batter. Now I have a loaf pan that I have buttered and floured, and I'm just going to pour the batter into it. It's pretty thick batter. Pound cake is a thick, kind of dense batter. Just kind of smooth that out. Okay, that looks good. So I am going to pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, and it's sort of light golden brown on top. The pound cake is out of the oven and it's almost finished cooling, so now I'm just going to make a really easy cream cheese frosting for it, and then I'm going to drizzle some white chocolate on it and get it decorated with some cranberries and fresh rosemary sprigs, and it's going to be so pretty and festive. To get started, I'm going to add my butter and cream cheese to my stand mixer. That's nice and fluffy, and I'm going to add in my confectioner's sugar pretty slowly. Make sure it mixes in really well. Then I'm just going to add in a little bit of vanilla bean paste. Next, we'll put the loaf on a pretty plate and I'll get it decorated. I want it kind of swirly so it looks like snow. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. Now I'm just going to put some those fresh cranberries on top. Give it a little bit of a festive color. And I have some fresh rosemary sprigs for some greenery. And then just a little dusting of powdered sugar. And this looks perfect. It's gonna be a nice sweet treat to enjoy after we finish decorating the tree this afternoon. Perfect for a snowy winter day.